One question I want to bring up about this recently announced DC movie slate, or not even a question, but a point is, I think DC is actually being more daring, not just in the the ambition of what the actual plan is, and sort of showing all their cards right off the bat like this through 2020, but in the casting. This is a far more diverse lineup than what Marvel has offered so far. You have Gal Gadot, first female superhero movie in quite some time.
Yeah.
Does
Elektra even count in that discussion?
I think that
I think Elektra and Catwoman count, but there's a decade ago.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if we're talking about like the modern era or whatever, I think that we need to really start with Iron Man almost, and then look at superhero movies from that
or
day
even
on.
From Batman Begins on, like whenever it became this sort of like, once it started like making $1 billion movies, like that to me is like, that's like the new era, almost like in comics how you had the golden age, the silver age, and then everything got rebooted and all that. But about the actual like the lineup, the diversity of it. I mean, you have Jason Momoa, who's a Pacific Islander. You have The Rock, also Pacific Islander and half African American. You have Gal Gadot getting her own movie. Ezra Miller, a young gay actor. He's openly gay. And Gal Gadot is also, she's not American, she's Israeli.
Yeah.
So
not American though is not so new.
But we're used to British actors playing American characters. I mean, so it's one thing to be playing it's a foreign actor in a superhero movie, the lead, but they're always playing an American. This is clearly like, I guess my point is that they are. And then, of course, Ray Fisher in Cyborg, African American. Oh, actually, no, he's English, I believe. I believe he's an English stage. I could be wrong. But, anywho, this is far more than what Marvel's been willing to do. It really has been the white guy show there for a while.
Yeah.
And, look, these are great characters. We love Marvel movies. I love what they're doing over there. But they're constantly kind of having some excuse for why we can't have Black Panther, or we can't have a Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel movie. We've had to settle for minorities and women being basically the cool supporting characters in these movies. Whereas now DC has just gone all in. They're like, no, we're making movies with these people, and they're not stars.
Yeah.
I think it's partially because of the way the Marvel universe in general in comics is set up. It's like Cap is, Cap and Tony Stark and Thor are white guys. That's what they are in the comics. They didn't change, like genders or ethnicity. They did for, depending on what comics you're talking about, they did change, Samuel Jackson, different from how Nick Fury. I wanted to say Nick Frost. That'd be a different. That'd be a different comic. But I mean, it's the Ultimates version of Nick Fury. So, I really do think that these next announcements that Marvel's going to have are going to be the Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Black Widow.
Is the DC tail is going to wag the Marvel dog? Is that what you're saying?
I think.
I just think it's a natural progression of what they've been doing.
I think that those two films were probably going to be heavily vetted and anyway going forward, because I mean, if you look at ign.com has an interview with Kevin Feige in which he said that from Comic-Con 2014, in which he said that there in fact is a groundswell for those two films.
But is that just fan service? Is the actual reality like,
Feige's really good at saying stuff without saying anything, but I will say this: he doesn't lie.
That's what we call the Tom Cruise effect.
Yeah, but what he said was, he's like, look, I said, like, how much do you pay attention to the stuff on the internet? And he was like, look, I will say that fan sort of ideas of things switch all the time. They love things, they hate things, like they haven't seen the whole thing, they don't know what we're doing, and then they see the full thing, and then they make their opinion. However, he will say, I do truly think there is a groundswell for Captain Marvel and Black Panther in particular. I'm talking to Jim's back, so I'm going to talk to you.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. So I do think that we will see those two movies next, but now will it look like they are copying DC to some degree?
I think, here's what I think. I think it's DC came out with this wonderful slate that is very diverse, and it's awesome, and that's a really good job, I think, on them for saying, hey, we have faith in these properties and in these people and the diverse stories.
In the New 52, too, as well.
Yeah, and the diverse stories that
we're
we're sort of already telling, you know, in the comics and so forth. So I think good on them, and I think it was a really... After so much disorganization and so many questions, and maybe they were more organized than we think, who knows, but like after what seems like years and years and years of sort of like not getting it right.
All those conventions we went to expecting news for nothing, and it comes out in an investor meeting.
We have to start tracking when these investor meetings are going to be.
But I mean, it's nice to get a huge chunk of information that is like, this is everything that you can look forward to. And by the way, we are making steps towards, you know, actually committing to a Wonder Woman movie and having things like, you know, Cyborg. I think Cyborg's a huge question mark too as a standalone character. He's going to have to shine in Justice League in order for that. You know, like some of these characters are definitely.
But there's also
Green
the
Lantern
generational appeal of that character, which is Cyborg's an interesting one because he was around when, you know, I was a kid reading the Teen Titans of like the George Perez era, and he was a very different. Well, I can't say very different, but like there's a whole different generation that either knows him from the Teen Titans, the Tiny Titans cartoon, or now from the New 52, where he's a founding member of the Justice League. So it's like I do feel like he has that sort of generational appeal that
like multi-generational.
Yeah,
appeal.
like that. While the mainstream might not be hip to who he is, there are going to be people who are now like people my age who might have kids who will know them from the cartoon. Like somebody is going to show up to see that movie. You know?
Yeah. The last thing I kind of want to say on this point, which is funny, is that I think Scarlett Johansson was poised to kind of be the first person to have her own movie in this way with Black Widow, but she actually came before herself and did Lucy, which is essentially a superhero movie, which opened really, really well, which kind of proved like you can do this. You can have an action movie, and you know, like this whole stigma that had been going on forever and ever with like, oh, tough women can't be in the lead because of Catwoman and you know Elektra and all these things that they tried. It's like those things weren't successful because they totally sucked.
Yeah, they weren't successful because they were bad, and that's what I was saying about Conan too. Like that was not successful because it was a bad movie, and it's unfortunate because I think Jason Momoa is a good actor.
He's a good Conan,
and
too.
he's a good Conan. Damn it.
Yeah. Which the internet was also wrong about on that one because remember they judged him. He's not tough enough. He's too pretty. He's this. He's that. Then they saw him as Khal Drogo, and they're like, no, he's awesome.
Yeah, it was just a bad movie, but hopefully Aquaman will be good.